So these are the Soundcore Space Q45s. They're a pair of entry-level ANC headphones that try to punch way above their weight class. Overall, they're decent and they get the job done, and they're a really good option for any frequent flyer. However, I can't help but feel that they're using last-gen tech for headphones in 2023. Nonetheless, let's see what these Space Q45s are all about. Now, when it comes to pricing, these headphones retail for $150, and given their feature set and the fact that they come included with a hard shell case, that is very impressive. Now, overall, I'm fairly neutral on these headphones. I don't hate them, but I don't love them, but I can still recommend them. So if you want to pick these headphones up, they'll be linked down below, and I think it's safe to assume that they'll go on sale on a regular basis. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch shelf down below. I've made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great, and if you've been watching me for a while, you know I can be very particular, so I'll only set my name on something that I'm really proud of. Now first, let's talk about the case. These headphones come included with a decently sized case. Its footprint isn't as huge as the XM5's case, but it's also not as small as either the Bose QC45's case or Sony 1000 XM4's case. But more importantly, the fact that these entry-level ANC headphones come included with a hard shell case is very impressive, because with a lot of other entry-level ANC headphones, either they don't come included with the case, or they only come included with a carrying pouch. But now let's talk about the headphones themselves. The Q45s have a mostly plastic body, and the majority of this plastic has a matte finish to it, which personally I do like. The ear cups themselves fully swivel, and these headphones are fully collapsible, which again, I like this. We've got an exposed stainless steel headband, which is very Sony 1000 XM2-like. We've got padded leatherette underneath the headband, and overall, the leatherette on the ear pads feels nice too. It's very soft, and it kind of feels like the leatherette on the XM5s. As in, there isn't any grain to it, it just kind of feels like soft touch silicone, except it's not as smooth as the XM5s. Overall, I'm impressed by the build quality of these headphones. However, when it comes to the looks of these headphones, they're not my favorite. Looks-wise, these headphones are rather bulky because they have a fairly bulbous headband. But also, the design of the ear cups themselves is very wide, making your face look wide, you look like Mega Man, and you can actually see these ear cups in your peripheral vision as well. And this is something that was a lot more common in 2018. These days, headphones are trying to look as sleek and as low profile as possible. Now, when it comes to fit, these headphones fit well, but they're not my favorite. Now, when it comes to clamping force, they have a neutral amount of clamping force, as in, they aren't tight, but they also aren't loose like, let's say, the Bose QC45s. Overall, I will say that these headphones are big head approved, and they will also fit very well with hats because their headband extends a lot. However, when it comes to their weight, the Q45s weigh in at 298 grams, which is average for a pair of premium ANC headphones. However, when compared to, let's say, the Sony 1000 XM4s, these weigh in at 254 grams, the XB910Ns weigh in at 252 grams, the XM5s weigh in at 250 grams, and the Bose QC45s, which are currently my favorite headphones, these weigh in at 234 grams. So what I'm saying is, the Q45s aren't overweight like the AirPod Max, which weigh in at a staggering 384 grams, but the Q45s are noticeably heavier than the headphones that these headphones are actively trying to undercut. So when compared to all of these other headphones, the Q45s are more noticeable when they're on your head. And yes, I have been spoiled by daily driving the Bose QC45s, and after recently testing the Sony Watcha 720Ns, which weigh in at 192 grams, going back to the Q45s, which weigh in at 298 grams, I am going to notice the difference. But also, I noticed that with the Q45s, due to their very wide design, I think they have a wide center of gravity, because whenever I turn my head with these headphones, their momentum is a lot more pronounced than these other headphones whose ear cups are a lot more low profile. But then there's the headband on these headphones. The padding on the headband is very soft, and I've noticed that at the 1 hour mark, this headband does create a hot spot on the top of your head, and that's because their super soft padding just gets super flat after a while. So personally, I can only wear these headphones for 1 hour at a time before I need to take a break. And finally, there are the earpads on these headphones. Now, these earpads are fairly spacious and they should have no problem fitting most ear types. However, they're not as deep as the earpads found on the Bose QC45s. So if you have ears that stick out a lot, then these could still press down on your ears. But what I really don't like about these earpads is that they have a lot of surface area coming in contact with your skin. And this padding collects a lot of heat. So these earpads do like to heat up rather quickly. So overall, fit-wise, I will say that these headphones will get the job done. But personally, they're not my favorite fitting headphones out there. The fit of these headphones feels a little last gen when compared to newer or more premium headphones. But now let's talk about tech specs. Regarding battery life, this is very impressive about these headphones, and I think this is the reason why the Q45s have their super wide design. Now, the Space Q45s have an advertised battery life of 50 hours with their active noise cancellation turned on, which is very impressive and it's super above average because for comparison's sake, the Sony XM4s and XM5s are both good for up to 30 hours with the active noise cancellation turned on, and the Bose QC45s are good for up to 24 hours with their active noise cancellation turned on. And with their active noise cancellation turned off, the Q45s are good for up to 65 hours of playback time. So overall, these are amazing for frequent commuters or travelers or flyers. Now, when it comes to charging these headphones, they charge via a USB-C port as they should, but also their fast charging is very impressive for a pair of entry-level headphones. Because if you were to plug these headphones in for 5 minutes from a dead battery, they're going to get you 4 hours of playback time. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, these headphones can be connected to 2 devices at the same time, which is good if you're a power user because you can use these headphones with both your phone and your computer at the same time, and they don't necessarily have to be in the same ecosystem. And regarding performance, these headphones have zero latency across the board when watching movies or videos on your phone, whether you're using an iPhone or an Android device. And when it comes to audio codecs, these headphones have support for SBC and AAC, but they also have support for Sony's LDAC, which is Sony's own in-house high-res audio codec. Just keep in mind that if you do want to use LDAC, you do have to be an Android user because iPhones top out at AAC. Also, keep in mind that if you do decide to use LDAC, then these headphones will only be able to be connected to one device at a time. And finally, if you do decide to use LDAC, that is going to take an additional toll on the battery life. But now let's talk about actually listening to music with these headphones. Now, I feel that these Space Q45s sound good enough to get the job done, but these headphones are definitely not going to be able to please people who like to actually feel the bass in their music. These headphones have very little physicality in their bass, and even if you were to go into their customizable EQ and raise their bass all the way up, you're still not going to get much physicality out of them. Now, the Q45s do have a bass up feature, which is going to give these headphones a little more physicality in their bass. But if you use this feature, a few things are going to happen. First off, these headphones are going to sound very shallow and they're going to sound like you're listening to them through a cup a little bit. The low ends just become so overpowering and muddy. But also, on rare occasions, the bass is going to bottom out. Now, when the bass bottoms out on these headphones, it is very slight and it can be a little hard to hear. It's not as prominent as when the bass bottoms out on the Surface headphones, but it is there. So personally, I wouldn't use the bass up feature on these headphones because it makes them sound shallow and because the bass can bottom out sometimes. But in general, these headphones do sound a little narrow and the instrumentals can get lost a little bit. These headphones are mostly bass and vocals, and the bass on these headphones is mostly on the audible side. So like I said, these headphones sound good enough to get the job done, but if you're someone that likes to feel the bass in your music, these aren't going to be able to deliver as well, and if you're someone that really likes good instrument separation, these are going to struggle to deliver in that area as well. But when it comes to controlling your music, these headphones are using physical buttons, and overall, I like these buttons. They're very well placed, and they're very easy to tell apart, and they have a very satisfying click to them. But now let's talk about the active noise cancellation on these headphones. Now, the ANC on the Q45s is very impressive because they are blocking out an above average amount of noise for a pair of entry-level ANC headphones. The Q45s block out noise more similar to a pair of really good mid-tier ANC headphones. But so that you can see for yourself, we're going to jump into the ANC test. So like you may have just seen, the Space Q45s do a really good job of keeping up with the likes of the Bose QC45s and the Sony 1000 XM5s, which are some of the best performing ANC headphones out there right now. The XM5s are currently number one when it comes to blocking out noise, and the Q45s aren't far behind. However, I do feel that the ANC on the Q45s is a little last gen because these do have a noticeable amount of cabin pressure. However, if you were to go in and lower the ANC on these headphones to 3, then that cabin pressure is less noticeable, but they're going to block out less noise. But overall, the ANC on these headphones is very impressive, and honestly, I feel that this is their main selling point. But next up is their ambient mode. These headphones have a decent enough sounding ambient mode. You can go in and adjust it to your liking, and the microphone array on these headphones does a really good job of blocking out wind noise when walking outdoors. The only thing that I do have to point out is that there is a very slight hissing in the background, but you can really only hear it while you're in a quiet room, maybe watching a movie. But besides that, if you want to, you can also set these headphones to have a talk mode. So this way, if you press the ANC button on these headphones, they will automatically lower the volume of your music and pump in all of the ambient sound around you so that you can quickly talk to someone without having to remove your headphones like this.
Noise cancelling.
But unfortunately, you can't have both. You can either have transparency mode or talk mode, but not both. And personally, I hate when companies do this because you can fix this through a software update. But finally, here's the microphone test. And overall, I am gonna have to say that I am rather impressed. Now, while in a quiet room, my voice does sound a little robotic, but this microphone definitely still gets the job done. Now, when it comes to blocking out noise pollution, this microphone does a decent job of blocking out this road noise, although there is some interference going on with my voice. But when it comes to blocking out chatter, this microphone is doing a slightly better job. Now, my voice still sounds a little hollow, but you can definitely still understand me. So overall, I will say that the Soundcore Space Q45s have a decent enough sounding microphone for phone calls, and you can get away with some noise pollution. So with all that being said, the Soundcore Space Q45s are a pair of entry-level ANC headphones whose main value proposition is going to be their active noise cancellation and very impressive battery life. With the amount of noise that these headphones block out and their 50-hour battery life, these are a great choice for frequent flyers and commuters. However, I do have to caution that fit-wise, these aren't my favorite. Their headband can create a hot spot on the top of your head due to their super soft padding. Their ear pads can get a little too hot a little too quickly, and their very wide design just makes their momentum very noticeable when you move your head around. And then there's the sound. They sound good enough to get the job done, but if you're someone that likes bass or instrument separation, these aren't going to be able to deliver. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.